Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am doing, I don't know which one I'm doing actually, let me just have a look. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am going to be doing my fourth video in my autistic trait series, and this isn't an autistic trait. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and today's video is another autism video, and this was actually requested to me in the comments from one of my other videos, and so today I'm going to be talking about high functioning and low functioning and why some people don't like the terms. And before I get into things, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications every time I upload a new video, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, which I'm sure you will. So, I'm going to start by talking about autism spectrum and a spectrum. So, you've probably heard the words loads of times, but you're thinking, what actually is a spectrum? I'm actually going to read it out because there's no way I'm going to remember it. I've made like a whole bunch of notes. But a spectrum is something used to classify something in terms of its position on a scale between 2 points. Also, can be defined as a wide range of something, e.g. a spectrum. So, autism spectrum, what is that exactly? Well, it's a whole variety of people on a spectrum that have different autistic traits at varying degrees of intensity. So you might be wondering, what exactly does high functioning and low functioning mean exactly, and why people use those terms? So high functioning used to be used to describe an autistic person that seemed very independent, was able to hold a conversation by themselves, do shopping by themselves, take routes to work a 9-to-5 job, you know, do all these things that I guess a neurotypical would be seen doing, and you would be classed as high functioning autistic. Whereas a low functioning autistic would be classed as maybe someone that's non-verbal, that very much is a danger to themselves and other people, might bang their heads on the walls or rock back and forth, can't care for themselves basically. And people often used to sort of put autistic people into these categories as you're either high functioning or you're low functioning. And here is why I think that can be really damaging to people. So first of all, as I said, autism is a spectrum. Now, autistic people behave differently in different situations. So that means that we can't put people into these two categories because they're constantly changing. And so one day, yes, they may need help to get out the house and do shopping and meet up with someone, but the next day they might be perfectly feeling okay to do that by themselves. And that's why it's so it's not accurate to use the terms, because every day is different. It's also really important to be aware that someone you might class as high functioning could very well be masking their heads off to the point where they don't even know who they are anymore. So it might seem like they're doing really well in life and they've got it all together and they're able to be really independent, but actually you don't know what happens when they get home and the mask comes off and they could just completely shut down. And so that is why so many people go undiagnosed, but also why so many people don't get the support they need, because they end up masking to try and fit in, to the point where people don't realise that they are autistic and that they need support with things. So the DSM-5, which for those that don't know, which I didn't know until I did some research for this video, stands for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. God, that is a tongue twister in itself. Which, by the way, I'm not entirely sure that I really appreciate that name, because I don't really see autism as a mental disorder. It kind of makes me sound like I've gone mad. But anyway, I'm sure that's a whole nother video. It's basically used to define autism and its symptoms. And in this, it has been updated, obviously, over the years. And it now includes 3 different levels of autism. So level 1 is for people that are considered higher functioning and need less support, supposedly. And obviously level 3 is people considered lower functioning and need the most support. Now, the reasons I also have problems with these terms, like using the levels, is mainly because, like I said before, not every autistic person is the same every day, and obviously no neurotypical person is the same every day. So it's exactly the same, even if they are autistic. And I also want to go back to my point about autism being a spectrum and not a ladder of severity, but a whole range of a spectrum. And when you think of a spectrum, I guess you sort of tend to think of a straight line where you go from one point to another point and you're somewhere in between. But for autism, it doesn't really work like that. It's more like a circle, and you sort of are spread out amongst it, I guess. And this is because not every autistic person struggles with every single autistic trait or to the same intensity as someone else. And so how can it just be a straight line? Because it's not that simple, is it really? I sort of, in my head, imagine a clock, and I know that there's 12 points on a clock, and obviously there's tons more autistic traits than 12, but for this example, let's just use 12. And we've got a clock, and each number of the clock is a different trait. And then you've got 12 hands on this imaginary clock, and each one is a different length pointing at each trait, depending on the severity of it in your life. And that's sort of how we as autistic people interpret the spectrum. Is it's not a straight line where you either need loads of support with everything or not that much support. It's you need support with different things to different degrees, and that's absolutely fine. Now, I understand why some autistic people may find using the terms high functioning and low functioning useful, especially when trying to explain their autism to other people. I, however, have always been dealt with calling me high functioning or mildly autistic, but I've never known you would have had autism looking at you. You don't look autistic, but you can do so many things. How can you be autistic? And anyway, you get the point. For me, it can feel really invalidating, almost as if like what I struggle with is normal, and that it's like everyone struggles with these things, like there's nothing different about you. And it also sort of reinforces the fact that I have to mask a lot to fit in, and it only makes my anxiety and my imposter syndrome so much worse. And I don't think a lot of people sort of realise the effects of saying these things to autistic people, which I guess, of course, why would they? But it's useful for them to know, and obviously that's why I'm making these videos. But I think it's the same for a lot of other autistic people as well. And I also understand that there are some autistic people who do need constant care and support, who may be non-verbal or physically a danger to others or themselves. And yes, it is fair to say that they may well need more support than other autistic people. However, labelling them low functioning can actually be quite demoralising and may seem quite hurtful because, well, say someone says to you, you're very low functioning. Like, it's not a very nice thing to say if you think about it, because we're all human. we're not robots and we don't function a certain way. We're all people and we just want to have the best of us seen. And some of the smartest people in the world can be non-verbal, so never judge a book by its cover. So in these videos, obviously, I tried to talk about different autistic traits and things to do with autism to educate people, and things we should and shouldn't do. And I also want to talk about, well, if we can't use those terms, if people don't like us using those terms, what can we use instead? Well, I've been thinking about it, but why do we need a term at all? Can't we just all be autistic or not autistic? It makes so much more sense, and because a lot of autistic people think in black and white thinking anyway, it just makes things so much more simpler. Because at the end of the day, you're either autistic or you're not, which, by the way, I did a video previously saying why I don't like the line, but we're all a little bit autistic, right? So if you want to watch that, I'll link it in the video to this, link it in the description to this video. But yeah, why do we have to have a term? You're either autistic or you're not, and everyone's needs are still so invalid, whether you need support on some things and not on other things, or more support than other people. Why does it matter? You need support, and that's the main thing. No matter what level of degree or severity, why can't we just say that you're autistic? And we should definitely normalise being able to be yourself and ask for support when you need it, instead of being told that you're too high functioning and you should be able to manage it on your own. Anyway, that's my views on the subject of high functioning and low functioning. I hope you've got something out of this video. I understand that with the topics I'm talking about, not everyone is going to agree with me, and that's totally fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and everyone has their own opinion on different things. This is not me speaking on behalf of all the autistic community, because obviously how can I? This is just me voicing my own opinion, and my opinion on how I feel a lot of the autistic community would also feel. So I hope you appreciate that, and let me know in the comments if there's any other topics you'd like me to talk about. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, because it lets me know that you enjoyed it and you'd like to hear more things like this. And subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications every time I upload a new video, which I'm trying to make weekly at the moment, and I'm seeing how that goes, although I'm not very good at sticking to things, so we'll have to see. I'm also very excited that because I wrote loads of notes for this video, it's not too long, which I'm trying to get better at, not making my videos too long, because even I get bored sitting there watching myself talk for half an hour. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.